Hello everybody, welcome to another lesson by me, Miss Pythagoras. In this lesson, I will explain 3D trigonometry, more specifically the area and sine rule and how you will find that in a typical exam question. This is lesson 4 of 5. In the diagram below, triangle PQR is drawn with PQ equal to 20 minus 4x, RQ equals x, and angle Q is 60 degrees. Number 1. Show that the area of triangle PQR is equal to 5 root 3x minus root 3x squared. Now, to work out the area of a non-right angled triangle, we will use the area rule. And remember, when you use the area rule, you need two sides and the included angle. And this is exactly the case here. Therefore, the area of triangle PQR can be written as equals half QR times QP, the sin of angle Q. And now you can substitute. Half times QR is x, QP is 20 minus 4x, sin 60 degrees. Then in the next step, now I'm going to multiply in the x. I will wait with the half and it becomes 20x minus 4x squared. Then sin 60 is root 3 over 2. And don't turn that into decimals since there's roots inside the question there. Show that the area of the triangle is equal to 5 root 3. Now, in the next step, I will multiply half with root 3 over 2 and it becomes root 3 over 4. And now, in the next step, I'm going to multiply in the root 3 over 4. And then I will say 4 goes in itself once, 4 goes into 20 5 times. And there you're left with 5 root 3x minus, and the second term, the 4 and the 4 will cancel, and you're left with negative root 3x squared. Question 2 says, determine the value of x for which the area of triangle PQR will be a maximum. Now this is what makes maths so difficult, because suddenly this is paper 2, this is trigonometry, and now they are testing your knowledge of calculus. So you must understand that when they want to deal with find the value of x for which the area will be a maximum, you will have to find the derivative and equate to 0, because the rule is for maximum and minimum, find the derivative and equate to 0. Into the equation, now there's your little expression, and then the notation that you will use will be capital letter D with a little x there. And you will equate to 0 because maximum, minimum, differentiate, equate to 0. Now, remember the rules of differentiation is you deal with each term individually. Now, when you differentiate, you are not interested in the coefficient, the number in front of x. So the 5 root 3, that you just leave alone, and you go to the x. And on x there is an invisible 1. And now let's differentiate. We will take the 1 and we will multiply with 5 root 3, which is 5 root 3. And remember, we will subtract 1. And then we end with x to the 0, and anything to the 0 is 1. Therefore, that term will just be 5 root 3. The second term, the minus root 3x squared, when we differentiate that one, we will take the 2, it will go to the front, it finds minus root 3 and it multiplies with it, so it becomes minus 2 root 3, and then we subtract 1 on the x's exponent. So therefore 2 minus 1 is just 1. So that term becomes minus 2 root 3x. Everything equal to 0. Why? Because maximum minimum differentiate equate to 0. And now we can solve x. So 5 root 3 will walk across, and then we will divide away the minus 2 root 3 both sides. And on the right hand side we end with the root 3, and the root 3 will cancel. A minus divided by a minus is a plus, and x's value is 5 over 2. Before we continue, have you subscribed yet? And a reminder, you can also visit my website onlinemaths.co.za. The link is in the comments below. There you will find all the chapters in the syllabus. Also feel free to leave a comment or like my video. Let's continue with the maths. Now the next question says, calculate the length of PR if the area of triangle PQR is a maximum. So when you go to PR, you will see that PR lives in the non-right angle triangle. And then we're going to use the cosine rule, since we've got the situation QR and QP, they are two sides and the included angle that's given. But first of all, let's work out what the value of QR will be. So QR is x, and in the previous sum we calculated that x was 5 over 2. Therefore, QR's length is 5 over 2. QP was given that it is 20 minus 4x. So when we substitute x as 5 over 2 into 20 minus 4x, we end with 10. Therefore, QP's length is 10. Now we have enough information to work out the length of PR using the cosine rule. Therefore, PR squared is equal to QR squared plus PQ squared minus 2 QR times PQ cos of Q. And remember, when you want to use the cosine rule, it has to be two sides and the included angle that's given. Now we can substitute. In QR's place, the 5 over 2 squared plus PQ is 10 squared minus 2 times 5 over 2 times 10 times cos of 60. Next step, 5 over 2 is squared is 25 over 4 plus 10 squared is 100 minus, and here I will say 2 and 2 cancel, and 5 times 10 is 50. Then cos of 60 is a half. And then when you slot all of that into your calculator, you end with PR squared is 81,25. But we have to get rid of the square, so we will take the square root of 81,25, and therefore PR's length is 9,01. In the diagram below, BC is a pole anchored by two cables at A and D. ADC are in the same horizontal plane. The height of the pole is h, and the angle of elevation from A to the top of the pole B is beta. That's the blue angle. Angle ABD is equal to 2 beta, and side AB is equal to BD. Determine the distance AD between the two anchors in terms of h. Now, remember, when we want the length of AD, we will always start in the furthest triangle from AD, and we will make the link between the two triangles the subject of the formula. So in this case, the link between the two triangles is side AB. Now we will start with the furthest triangle, which is triangle ABC, the right angled triangle. And then we will say sin beta is equal to h over AB. Remember, sin's ratio is opposite over hypotenuse. Therefore, sin beta is equal to h over AB. And then we can make AB the subject of the formula, and we end with AB is h over sin beta. But it was given that AB is equal to BD. Therefore, we can also say that the length of BD is equal to h over sin beta. Now, let's work out some angles there in triangle ABD. Now, do you agree that since BD and AB are equal, we know that this angle here, angle BAD, the purple one over there, is equal to angle ADB, this one over there. It's an isosceles triangle. So we can say, now we work in triangle ABD, and we can say that angle BAD, the purple one, plus angle ADB, the other purple one, plus the green one on top, angle ABD, is equal to 180 degrees, angles of a triangle. Then we can substitute in ABD's place 2 beta, because it was given that it's 2 beta. Then angle BAD and ADB, they are equal. So we can write that as twice angle BAD is equal to 180, and the 2 beta can walk across, minus 2 beta. And then we can divide right through by 2, and we end with angle BAD is equal to 90 degrees minus beta. Now that we know the size of angle ADB and angle BAD, we can work out the length of AD. Remember, those two angles are equal. And now we can say, in non-right angle triangle ABD, the purple triangle, we can use the sine rule. And we can say AD over sine ABD, the green angle on top there at B, equals AB over sin ADB. And we can substitute in angle ABD's place. We can substitute 2 beta equals AB over sin, and then remember we worked out angle ADB is equal to 90 degrees minus beta. Now in the next step, I will make AD the subject of the formula. So I multiplied both sides by sin 2 beta. Then on the right hand side at the denominator here at sin 90 degrees minus beta, there you find a reduction formula. And sin 90 degrees minus beta can be reduced to cos beta. Then, can you remember we worked out the length of AB in the first question? AB was h over sin beta. Now we will substitute AB with h over sin beta times sin 2 beta over cos beta. Then here you find sin 2 beta, and that's a double angle, and you can write that as 2 sin beta cos beta. And now you can cancel. Cos beta and cos beta can cancel, sin beta and sin beta can cancel. Therefore, the length of AD is equal to 2h. In the next lesson, you will find a typical exam type question where we will use the cosine rule. click on the video in the left-hand corner to take you straight to the next lesson.